This is Medical Science Lecture Room. I am delighted to have you here. Today I would like to share with you on a very important topic, which is how to reduce teenage pregnancies. Just to inform you, in this channel I give medical tips or medical education to my esteemed viewers at the comfort of their living room. Again, I run classes for students of physics, chemistry, and mathematics. Once again, my name is Dr. Godwin Obono. In case you're new to this channel, please hit the subscription button, turn on your notification bell so that once new videos are made, you'll be first to be notified. Again, share and like this video. Welcome back. Like I said, I want to discuss with you on how you can prevent teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy is a pregnancy within the age of 10 and 19 years. Although some persons say the age of teenage years may be extended to 24 years. By that, we may also say pregnancy in the early 20s may also be inclusive. However, there are some persons who also may get pregnant earlier than 10 years, as I've heard. But basically, pregnancy within 10 and 19 years old may be described as teenage pregnancy. These pregnancies come with a number of consequences, for which it's important that we do our best to reduce the rate at which those pregnancies occur in our environment. The first is that most of the girls who get pregnant may end up being dropped from school. They may not finish high school, and even when they give birth, they may not return back to school. So one of the consequences is that we tend to have a number of dropout female children following pregnancy. Another consequence of teenage pregnancy is that the baby may be of low weight. Sometimes some of them die before they are given birth. In other words, that's what we refer to as stillbirth. Some die after they are within 28 days after they are delivered. That's what we call neonatal death. So you now imagine a young girl who will have such an experience where a baby dies in utero or in her womb, or die just after giving birth. That is not a good experience for such a girl. Another consequence is that most of these teenage girls may have their future relationship ruined by the fact that they had a child during their early days, or a child outside wedlock. For that reason, most of these teenagers in later life, they may have difficulty with going into new relationships. Again, there is this huge financial burden that will be on the parents of both the father of the unborn child as well as the teenage girl. So this financial burden may lead to why the baby, after he or she is born, may suffer abuse or neglect. In most cases, these babies may not be well taken care of. They are probably taken care of by people who are not even their parents, because the teenage girl, the mother of this baby as well as the father, they do not have the financial strength to be able to take care of this baby. And so in most cases, the baby may be under the care of other persons who may not take good care of them, leading to abuse and neglect. We have seen situations or cases where a baby may be found around a waste bin just because the parent, probably the mother, decided to dump that child there. So these are all the consequences that a teenage pregnancy may bring. And so for that reason, it is important that we do our best to reduce the rate at which teenage pregnancy occur. Now, The very important way we can reduce, one important way we can reduce teenage pregnancy is sex education. The question is that who will be the one to educate these teenage girls or teenagers? Most cases it should be the responsibility of their parent and the school these kids will attend. Now most parents have this problem or feeling that if they have to educate their child about sex, that they will be spoiling their child. That again on its own is a problem because it is actually wrong. So because of that, these parents end up not giving proper sexual education to their children when they were growing, especially the female child. Again, at what age, even when you have a parent who is ready to educate our child, our daughter or our female child on sex, at what age will that be done? Most parents feel it should be done when the child gets to puberty. That of course is between the age of 10 and 14 years for the females. But it's really wrong. It's right to start educating these kids quite early, even before the age of puberty. Although at the level of kindergarten, the kind of sex education that should be given to them might not be the same as that which should be given to the child when the child approaches puberty. But it's going to be wrong if you wait till the child gets to puberty before having to educate them. And again, the question here is that, again, one problem that parents do have is that some of them do not have that good relationship of, they are not so friendly with their kids. The child finds it difficult to confide in the mother because, or the father, because they have never been that close. So it's therefore not right for a parent to distance or stay away from the child. So there should be that cordial relationship between the two, such that the child should find it convenient and easy to go to the mother or to the father with some problems. If that happens, it's possible for some of these sexual problems or sexual questions that child may have might be put to the mother, and the mother will try to address them quite early before these children make mistakes. Now the question is, what are the possible questions or possible education that we may give to these kids, these children, when they are growing up? Now most parents like to tell their kids that they should postpone sex till when they get old or when they get married. Though that is good, that is absolutely good, but it is not enough. The reason is that when a child gets to puberty, that child becomes sexually matured, and most of them tend to ask questions like, why did mommy say I should not indulge in sex? So they begin to ask questions like that. Therefore, it means if you have told your child not to reserve, if you have educated your child that sex should be reserved for the married, good. But you should go ahead to tell the child, why do you think so? What is your reason? And now some of them may actually give the reason that it's because as believers, probably because of their religious background, as believers, God says the Bible says that we should stay away from sex when you're not married. Of course, that is good also, but sometimes I feel after you have said so, it is also good for you to emphasize the consequence of what premarital sex. It's important for you to emphasize that. Look at the danger, the consequence, the negative effect. But while you say so, please do not fail to tell your child of how sweet sex could be. Because if you do not tell your daughter or your son how sweet sex could be, and you emphasize only on the negatives, the day she finds out, or the day she tries it, she finds out that it is actually sweet, what that will lead to is that your daughter may not want to accept or take every other counsel you must have given to him or her. So it's advisable, or it's best, while you tell him or her the dangers, the negatives of premarital sex, it is also right to tell him or her that sex is sweet, but do not emphasize it. Do not emphasize it. Rather, emphasize the negatives even more. And while emphasizing the negatives, don't fail to emphasize the need of what. Don't fail to emphasize the fact that if premarital sex may also be a reason for what sexual transmitted infection. Sometimes, even with all the message of abstinence, it does not still stop some of these kids from getting to try all of this. Even if you are emphasizing or telling your child the negatives, there is still need for you to tell the child about contraceptives, because if you don't, the day she tries it, because despite the message or the message of abstinence, that child may still go ahead to try it. So it's right, therefore, to teach that child or educate that child about the various contraception, the use of condom, and all of that. I have a video on the various ways you can prevent pregnancy. So if you watch that video, you have the various ways you can possibly prevent unwanted pregnancies. So you will equally have to teach your child about contraception, the various methods. I've seen a woman who walked into the hospital with a 16-year-old child for insertion of what we call IUC, the intrauterine contraceptive device. For that woman, she feels that probably she had tried all she could to educate the child, but she feels this child may someday bring to the house a pregnancy that was never planned. For that reason, she feels the best is to do family planning for that child. And that child was IUCD was put into that child, and for her, after years, anytime she's ready, to get pregnant, she will come back and then it will be removed. What I'm saying in essence is, besides the message of abstinence, you should tell your child about the use of contraceptive device or other birth preventive controls. So in summary, the sex education is the major thing that a parent must do. And remember, in addition to the parent's role, the school has a role to play. The school will have to continue the same direction educating these kids about sex prevention, or how to avoid getting into premarital sex. With all the negatives, I want to believe that every of my viewer have understood this simple piece. If you have any question, please drop them at the comment section. Do not fail to subscribe. Do not also fail to like this video if you find value. Thank you.